Lake Havasu. It rises from the Arizona desert like a mirage. An oasis of water shimmering in the heat. Ringed by mountains, Arizona on one side, California on the other. "40 years ago, the centuries-old London Bridge was disassembled stone by stone and moved across the ocean to these quiet shores. You can still see the bullet holes from World War II, and some even say it's haunted. Today, this desert haven not only provides a sanctuary to the local wildlife with these many miles of waterways, but there's also a bustling array of recreational activities with its abundance of sunshine. And for nearly 35 years now, classic car collectors from throughout the country gather here for the annual car show known as Run to the Sun. Of course, we jumped at the chance to take the Craftsman experience on the road and take you along for the ride. For the automotive craftsman, this summer oasis isn't a mirage at all. It's a proud showcase of countless hours of hard work, passion, and true craftsmanship. For fans of hot rods, muscle cars, production cars, and other vintage automobiles built before 1972, there's no better place to be each year. Within this vintage car paradise are the stories behind the car. We got a chance to talk to some of the owners of these beautiful machines and learned that these passions run deep. And for many, Craftsman tools were there to start them on their journey to a lifelong love affair. Well, we found somebody that actually loves working with hands, and he used his car and working with tools as a therapy, as you recently went through some cancer problems. And
I did.
Dick Stiller here, yeah. So tell us about that.
Well, I'm working on cars since I was 13 years old. I've had a first car then, never had been without a car, all for the Navy, everything. So anyway, but my first got me started was I got a car in 1953, paid $30 for a 1940 Ford convertible. And my dad gave me a Craftsman toolbox, a little small one, and this is 1953, 54. And I was like a kid in a candy store. It was like, oh my God, I got these great tools. And that started my road with building cars, and I use Craftsman tools today.
So when they told you had cancer, you're thinking, oh man, I see this beautiful 40 Ford behind us. You were out working on this in the garage as part of the therapy, though, which I think is great, right?
This one, oh yeah, well, this one and a couple other cars. My brother's got a 64 Chevelle, and we worked on it. I come back from cancer, the chemo, tired. Well, not too bad after the chemo, but then they gotta keep going. So I said I went out, worked on the car, and I sit down for a while. And I get back, work on the car, and keep going. I go to the gym in the morning. I said I'm not gonna let this beat me. I'm just gonna use these cars in my therapy because that's my love. So.
Well, you know what they say, as when the hands are at work, the mind is at ease, and maybe it took some of the stress off you. Tell us about your car a little bit here.
Well, I bought this car in 2004. It was club members down in California from a club called the 40s Limited, big club down there. Still a member. And it was black, it was standard front end, it was on the road a lot. I needed to do something. I didn't do the work, so I tore it all down to the bare frame. Got to do it. And while I did, I might as well do this, might as well do that. So I built the frame up, the whole car, new floor, different front end, changed the color. I painted it myself, my brother and I.
You painted this?
My brother and I painted the car.
Wow, and it's beautiful. That's impressive.
We did all the body work and paint, everything but the upholstery and the pinstriping.
So what's your favorite Craftsman tool?
Oh, the ratchet wrench. The new come out in the last few years. That's just a tool. I got a whole bunch of them all through the shop, different places. I just go grab one off the rack and just go out and use it. And it's a lot easier than messing with sockets. And it's just a nice, tight-fitting tool. You can get in places and strong, very reliable, and nice tight clicking it. You're in tight quarters. You can take the wrench, take the bolt out, no problem.
Well, there you go. See, it just shows that working on cars is therapy. Dick Stiller, thank you, brother.
Yes, it is.
All right, we're going to go find some more guys here at the Run to the Sun. Let's roll. Mike and Brian Philpott there with Windsor Automotive. You know, when you look around at what hot rods are these days, usually you'll see some that are restored back to original. Well, Willie's is one of those cars you never see the original. They're all turned into hot rods. You guys own these two behind us. Brian, yes. Mike, you guys, you know my story about the tools. It's like without tools you can't do anything. But
absolutely.
Let's talk about real quick. What do you got here, and whose is whose, and do you guys just share them, or what's the story?
Well, I'd like to claim them both, honestly. But
yeah, exactly.
At the end of the day, they are my dad. So yeah, but.
So two different superchargers. Did you go with one versus the other for a reason? This one's got a BDS. That one has a B&M. What's the story?
More of the old school style, the B&M, and kind of mix them up sometime.
We wanted that the carbureted, obviously. Right. The way everything started, and then you move on over, obviously, to the fuel injection over here. So a mix of both.
But the funny thing is, here in Lake Havasu, obviously beautiful sunny day, air conditioning on both.
Absolutely. We're in Lake Havasu.
I know. I guess so. But do you drive these things?
Absolutely. Yeah. You don't get any fun out of them if you don't drive them. You built them for a reason. They can be a trailer queen, quote unquote, or you can go out there and drive them. We love participating in big shows. We like coming out to the shows, and obviously we love to drive them. That's what they're here for.
So I'm looking at how I'm going to get my hands in there and work. I know you guys you got your Craftsman tool story,
absolutely,
but
yeah.
What's the story? You got a Craftsman tool story somewhere in you, right?
Story is this: when you have cars like this, you never can find the right part. So you take that Craftsman tool and you bend it, you do a little bit of this, and guess what? You find out how to get into the right spot.
There you go. How many tools have we made? Now, fortunately, the more we go on, the more tools they do make. I don't know if you guys have seen like the different ratcheting in, opening in wrenches and stuff. They're coming up with new stuff all the time, but you guys definitely reinventing what Willie's was originally made for. You don't ever see these cars restored back to original. You get this. And you know what? What does something like this cost to build?
My son's inheritance, okay?
There you go. That's it. All right, guys.
That's one way to put it.
Windsor Automotive, both beautiful 41 Willys. More cars. Let's go check them out. Thanks, guys. We're here with Jerry Vandenberg. He is the creator of this 1948 Merlick. Why do you call it a Merlick?
It's a Mercury, a Lincoln, and Buick, combination of three different cars. Of old junk car parts. We just threw them together to see what they look like.
This is old junk car parts. Okay.
Absolutely junk car parts. And
now, this resembles a car they call Scrape, by the way.
Yeah.
Does that bug you?
Yeah.
Because this is not a kit car, is it?
This is not a kit car. This is all built from sheet metal off of old junk cars. Everything functions. The top is a power top. The windshield and the top is 41 Buick. The actual basic body is 48 Mercury. The front and rear fenders are 41 Lincoln. This deck area was the roof off the Lincoln sedan. And we just kept putting things together and saying, well, we'll cut this apart, that apart, put this together, throw that away. And it was a lot of fun.
48 Merlick. Now, let me ask you, you're working on cars 50 years, could I guess?
Over 50 years, yes.
And is there a Craftsman story inside of you?
Yes, we've used Craftsmans all along. We have other brands also, but Craftsmans are our primary use. They're good tools. They're affordable to replace when they get lost or stolen. And so we find them to use. It's worthwhile having them.
And then, this car was put together by, dare I say, this old man. Which, if I'm doing this kind of work when I'm this old, and I got to say, this makes life worth living, doesn't it?
It's enjoyable. When you start out with an old piece of junk and you create something, everybody's got an ego.
Yeah.
Everybody. And everyone wants to please it. And believe me, I've got the biggest ego in the world.
Well, he's got a car that's pretty much priceless, too. And that is exactly why we're out here finding craftsmen like this to make sure that you guys know this can be done. You can take old pieces of junk from the junkyard, people dropping off parts at his place, turn it into beautiful stuff like this. But the first thing you got to do is learn how to work with your hands, get some inexpensive tools that have a lifetime
Tools to work
warranty,
with.
right?
Yeah.
So that's why we love Craftsman, and that's why we like to find craftsmen like this, because we want to make sure that we show you what can be done. So Jerry, let me thank you very much
Thank
for
you
being a
very much.
craftsman, brother.
We enjoyed it.